Let's see, where were we at? We were looking at polyatomic anions. So if you have two or more capital letters after the metal, that means you have a polyatomic anion. And all you're going to do is you're going to look on the chart. Look on the chart. So you might see PO4 and it'll say phosphate. And so you just name it phosphate. You might see OH minus, hydroxide, and you would name it hydroxide. Is it selenide? Yeah, it would be selenide if you have Se2 minus. So oxide, nitride, Se2 minus would be selenide. Yeah. Okay. So you are going to have this chart. Like I said, it's part of the assignment. So feel free to download it for yourself. I will include, I haven't put it in there yet, but I'll include this version as well with all my scribbling all over it in case you feel that might be useful. Okay, but yeah, okay. So that's what you're going to be doing for quiz number 6. You'll be doing a worksheet to practice this, and then you'll be going to Schoology and taking quiz number 6. Okay. Okay, so this week we have 2 things that we're doing. One of them is review. Okay, so the first one is review, and it's of all the different types of naming that you have done up till this point. There is a worksheet with that, and there is also Schoology quiz number 6. And you are going to be using a flow chart, which I will show you in a moment, if you need to. But if you can try to do it without the flow chart, that would be great. But don't stress if you need to use the flow chart, it's okay. All right, so let's just go take a little look at that flow chart that I'm talking about. Here we go. Okay, so this will be attached to the assignment, the worksheet, and the quiz assignment. And so what you're going to do is when you get a formula, you're going to ask yourself, does it begin with a metal or does it begin with NH4? And that's going to tell you whether the compound is ionic or covalent. So if it's ionic, things get a bit complicated. So we're going to start with covalent first. So if you do not have a metal, if you do not have NH4, that means that your compound is covalent. You will have only 2 non-metals. And you're just going to use the rules that we have learned already. You name the first element, you name the second element, making sure you change that ending to "ide." And you use the prefixes, mono, di, tri, etc. And you remember that mono is not used on the first word, but it is used on the second word. All other prefixes are used all the time. And finally, you're going to remember that you drop the O and the A before oxide. I suppose I should put or oxygen. I will add that in. Okay, so that should be stuff you're already familiar with, but these covalent compounds will now be mixed in with the ionic compounds. Okay, now if you do have a metal or you have NH4, that's going to let you know that your compound is ionic. And you're going to do 2 things. Number 1, you're going to name the cation, and number 2, you're going to name the anion. When you're naming the cation, you have 3 choices. The first choice is that you have a simple metal. A simple metal is not in the red zone. So that would be like sodium or calcium. Okay, and so you just name it. If you have a multivalent metal, that's your second choice for the cation. That means you are in the red zone, and it will need a Roman numeral. Okay, so you're going to need to remember how to find the Roman numeral. And if you've forgotten that, you can go on our video playlist and take a look at how to find Roman numerals. And if you're still having trouble, you can always, send me a message and arrange for a mini tutorial. Okay, and our third choice for our cation, we could have a simple metal, we could have a multivalent metal, or last but not least, we could have NH4. And NH4 is actually the easiest one because you just go, oh, it's ammonium. So as long as you know that, you just name it. So step number one, name the cation. 3 choices for how to do that. Step number 2, you're going to name the anion. And you have a choice. Either it is monatomic, so you might have O or N or P, and you would just name them oxide, nitride, phosphide. So you just take phosphide. You just take the name and change the ending to "ide." Or you might have a polyatomic ion, and you'll know that you have a polyatomic ion if you have more than or 2 or more capital letters after your cation.